It's like having a research assistant on your bookshelf. Welcome to Bible on the Go with Dr. Dan and our once a month review of Bibles and study Bibles. And this time, this is really amazing Bible because, well, the title's so long. The Reformation Heritage KJV Study Bible. Now, the key to this Bible is in the word Reformation. They told you in the title what it was going to be about. Now, if you are like me and you were raised on the King James Bible and you memorized whole sections of the King James Bible, you already like this Bible because it's in King James and it's comfortable to read and easy to read because of the Bible version that it is. But I just have to say right off the bat, before we even roll through one of these bookmarks, there's no pictures in the KJV Reformation Heritage Study Bible. There's no tables in the KJV Reformation Study Bible. And there's no color in the text in the KJV Reformation Study Bible. But it is loaded with content in the Reformation tradition. Now, I've made lots of bookmarks in this, and we're going to go through them one at a time to try to give you just a sampling of the amazing content inside this Bible. Now, this is, I have to tell you, this is one of the 4 Bibles that I received as a gift on Father's Day. And I've had a lot of fun looking at it and looking through it. The first thing I noticed as I got to this first bookmark right at the very beginning is it has a lot of helpful indices. There's a list of in-text articles, and there's also an alphabetical list of the books of the Bible. Now, this is becoming a more common theme as we come to modern study Bibles because there's simply a lot of people buying Bibles that don't know the canonical order, and that's fine because we want as many people as possible to get a Bible and read it. And then you have a very interesting thing that happens here, and it's really helpful because a lot of times, like if you have an NIV or an ESV or a Christian Standard Bible or a New Living Translation, they go to a lot of lengths to tell you about the version. Now, some King James Bibles just have the original 1611 dedication to the Most High and Mighty Prince James, right, who funded the translation way back there in 1611, those scholars, and what a great job they did. It's lasted for well over 400 years. But in this particular Bible, because it's a Reformation Heritage Bible, you got a really neat article called the King James Version. It's tradition, text, and translation. And that's the structure of it. And it talks about 2011 being the 400th anniversary. And so you see first it's tradition, and then it's text, and the text that it's based on, and its translation. And you can tell just by looking at this Bible, the note font is small, but the Bible font is much bigger. And the reason they made it so small is because they've got so much in here. Okay, let's look at another thing. Now, so we're talking about something that's a good example as you go from section to section or book to book. For example, when I get to a new section, like in this case, the historical books, okay, there's a 2-page, and that doesn't sound like much, but if you look at the single-spaced font, okay, back and front, it's a full-on introduction to the whole section of the historical books. And what you can count on, because of the Reformation tradition and their love of doctrine and good solid theology, is every line of it is going to be meaningful and loaded with content. And if you're a reader, you would really like this Bible because it's text. It is text, text, text. Okay? And then at the start of every book, there's quite an introduction to the book itself. I want to show you an example here in Judges. Here you see authorship, date, theme, purpose, and synopsis, or summary of it, and then an outline. So it's very helpful, but it's concise and loaded with content, and that's just the way they roll in the Reformation Heritage KJV Study Bible. And then, when I get between the Testaments, now not all study Bibles do this, and so I'm glad that this one does. It has a section on the time between the Testaments. And when we turn the page from Malachi to Matthew, it's written really well. It is helpful to remember that roughly 450 years have taken place. That's a lot of information in one sentence. And so it's really helpful that they give you this. And again, it's just 2 pages, but here it's numbered, right? You've got first, let's look first at the major changes on the world stage, and they number 4 different items for you. And look at all the great detail on it. And then let's consider the changes for the Jewish people, and there's 6 whole items. So it covers a lot of information without taking up a lot of space. And I think it's really cool that it's that way. And it's why I refer to it as a research assistant on your bookshelf, because if you need a solid, dependable, trustworthy synopsis of any issue, this is the study Bible for you. Because that's part of the Reformation tradition, going all the way back to Martin Luther in 1517, and the emphasis on doctrine and theology that has been such a blessing to the church, right? But let's look at another bookmark, because there's a lot of stuff in here. Okay, when I get to it now, in every book, whether you're talking Malachi or John or the book of Acts, you have that thorough introduction to the section. Like here's the introduction to the Gospels and Acts, and then I get to Matthew. There's those same kind of headings, and there's an extensive outline. That's true for all 66 books. But let's look at something else in the back, and this is just, I mean, hey, this is true to the Reformation tradition. Okay, so here's the Bible, but look at this whole section of helps. Look how much is there. Now that includes the concordance, but it's a lot of stuff. And let's take a look at it. First, and I love this. I love the practical aspect. And in fact, before I go any further, I have to mention this. And let's just go to any page. And this is true on any page of this Bible. You have bold sections in the notes and bold headings and giving you a synopsis of the chapter. For example, here in Luke, after relating his purpose, Luke details early events surrounding Zacharias, Elizabeth, and Mary as God brings his son into the world. So that's really helpful. And it's the pericope title, or the section titles, are right there in bold, and each of the references where there's a note is in bold. And you know, hey, they care about doctrine, and they care about teaching the right stuff. And on some pages, you'll find this, and I love this because you can tell the care that they're giving to integrate not just your doctrine, but your own personal worship. And this is what the section's called, Thoughts for Personal Family Worship, from chapter 4, right? So it's very cool in that sense that it's well thought out and well considered in the KJV Reformation Heritage Study Bible. For example, in these study helps, how to live as a Christian. And this goes on and on and on. Now, again, may only seem like, what is it? It's 40 pages, okay? Living for God's glory, spiritual desertion, fleeing worldliness, being a Christ-like husband, being a godly wife, witnessing for Christ, defending our faith. So lots of information. And then when you finish that, look at this, 20 centuries of church history. What a treasure in this help. In this help, it's, look at this, first century. And then you turn it, second century. A century of information on each page. That's fantastic. Okay? And then when I get through the century, the church history stuff, I come to the historical theology section. Right after the church history section is a listing of all the creeds of the church. Creeds and confession. The Athanasian Creed. The Belgic Confession. Look how long that is. Article 1, Article 2, Article 3. As a Christian educator, I appreciate the emphasis on doctrine and what's true, right? In this KJV, Reformation Heritage KJV Study Bible. And so all these confessions, the Westminster Confession of Faith, there's so much here, and it even gives you the year of it. It's really, really good and really, really quality. Now, when I opened this Bible, there was a little card that fell out of it, and look at it, free online access. Now, this is something really cool, and I wish every study Bible did it. But basically, because you buy this Bible, they give you access to the digital text, all the notes, all the confessions, all the teaching notes, all the study helps, okay? And it's just a really valuable thing to have. And what I will do this is I'll go to that website and I'll put that in, and then I'll electronically bookmark that under my Bibles section of my bookmarks so that I can always go to it if I want to search through it. It's extremely valuable, extremely helpful, and it doesn't cost any extra than what you paid for the Bible. Now I'm going to put that back in there so I know that I have it. Now, there is color in this Bible, and the color is in the maps. Thanks for watching Bible on the Go with Dr. Dan. If you like these videos, the best thing and most helpful thing you can do is to hit that red button called subscribe. It doesn't cost a thing, and you only have to do it once. Maps!